10 years to my age.
Like James Harden style beard, or
No.
just a controlled one?
Somebody once said, Bob Costas was young looking when he broke into this business. They said, you need a beard. It'd make you look older. And he said, well, it would take 10 years for me to grow a beard, and I would be older. With that, let's bring in Sports Illustrated senior writer for the past decade, Lee Jenkins. He profiled LeBron James, Kevin Durant. He broke the story on the letter. You do realize now that you broke the first story, the big letter story.
Right.
Okay. I don't remember. Who broke the story on LeBron in Miami? Was that Stephen A. or who was it?
I think Stephen A. called it. I don't know if he broke it or called it, but does it really matter?
Oh, well, it does for me.
Okay.
And now you broke the second one.
Okay.
Yeah, now, okay, you did. I almost cried reading that letter. So I'll throw my theory out. That I have this pie chart. LeBron went to Ohio because home does matter. Mm-hmm. It matters to all of us. We have a soft spot. I couldn't live where I grew up because of economically I couldn't do it.
Right.
But I got a soft spot for it. I have a soft spot. Where were you born?
San Diego.
Okay, well, that's an easy place to have a soft spot for. But in the end, LeBron does want to stay there. But I kind of believe in the pie chart that Cleveland's right now 50%. If they won the lottery tonight with the number one pick and could trade for another star, it'd probably make it 75, 80% LeBron staying. Here's my pie chart pre-lottery tonight, is that I do believe Cleveland's the favorite. He moved there for a reason. You can see it, Lee. I think the Lakers are a real entity, and I think there's 10% other. If they win the lottery tonight, 10% chance first, second, or third, they have a prize recruiting asset they could trade or use. I think the pie chart changes to about Cleveland 75%. Your gut feeling, let's say, for instance, they lose the Boston series, and he feels flummoxed and trapped. What are your odds? Where do you think his head is at?
I'm probably similar to you. I think this Warriors dynamic, I think every night, last night he's probably sitting there watching that game and thinking, how do you beat these guys? How is anybody going to take them out? I think just the specter of the Warriors changes so much in the NBA as far as what all of these stars are thinking and how easily they become disgruntled where they are, and why there may be more movement this summer than in previous summers, because something's going to have to happen in one of these cities. There's going to have to become a super team that would take them out. Boston can't take them out as presently constituted. I don't care if Irving and Hayward are there.
You don't think so?
Philly this way? No, I don't. I think if those four guys stay together, to me the number one threat to the Warriors is if one of those players decides that they want to front a franchise, that they really want to compete again and go somewhere and take ownership of something different. If that doesn't happen, then there will have to be a place where there's a super team. LA has assets, and LA is a place where you can obviously recruit other players. That's why I think the Lakers are a factor. Moving forward, when LeBron is not necessarily in his prime, it will be easier to get players to the Lakers than it would be to the Cavs. As presently constituted, I don't really like any of his options, Colin. I don't like any of his options. I don't think...
Well, okay, let's start with that. Why don't you like Philadelphia?
I think if he went to Philadelphia or Houston... I think LeBron James has a lot of casual fans. I think among the hardcore basketball cognoscenti, if he went to Houston or Philadelphia, there would be an understanding of why. Dan Gilbert, the cap situation in Cleveland, all of that. But there are a lot of people who I think really like LeBron James and don't necessarily know a whole lot else about basketball. And part of the reason they like him is that he went back to Cleveland and he won a championship there. And the minute he leaves there again, I do think he risks alienating a pretty large percentage of that constituency.
Okay. Philadelphia, the basketball part. I worry about Simmons and LeBron, both ball-dominant players. Do you think the basketball part of Philadelphia works?
Yes. Oh, no, I think that's a concern. I definitely think he knows Ben Simmons as well as anybody knows him. It's also young players still finding their footing. What do young players want? They want to be the guy. There's an arc here. When players hit 26, 27, they really, really want to win. But when they're young, they usually want both, right? They want to win and they want to front a team. Does he want to go there and be there when Ben Simmons and Joel Embiid are kind of finding themselves, finding their place in the NBA as stars? He just went through that with Kyrie Irving. Kyrie Irving, he wanted to spread his wings and see how good he could be. Would LeBron want to go and do that with two young players who are still kind of at the early side of that arc? Now, in Houston, obviously those players are at the other end of that arc. It would be maybe the best passing team of all time if you had Harden, LeBron, and Chris Paul together. But then he exposes himself to an incredible backlash. Maybe he doesn't care, but it would be probably no different than Durant. And you also have to understand he's someone who, having been with him right after those championships in Miami and right after the championship he won in Cleveland, he understands, I think, that rings are not all created equal. That there was a weight to the one he won in Cleveland that there just wasn't to the ones in Miami, even if it was his first and his second. There's a significance to doing it as the guy on a team who sort of builds it around, who you build around, as opposed to someone who joins a 65-win team. I think he's old school enough to recognize that.
This is an interesting dilemma to be in. I should make that a couch, and I should just bring in all my guests, lay you on the couch, I'll be the therapist, and take you through the mind of LeBron. But let's say I'm LeBron, who's a very smart guy.
Right.
And in the end, we're all prisoners of the moment. Maybe you're not, but Kevin Durant leaves Boston. He's not loyal. Now we love him. Kevin Garnett, excuse me, goes to Boston. A little pushback.
Right.
We love it. LeBron goes to Miami. In the end, we're like, it was the right move. Kevin Durant goes to Golden State. The minute he won a title, we were like, Durant's better than LeBron. LeBron.
Yeah.
In the end, LeBron knows if you win a title, it wins.
It all goes away.
And so if I'm LeBron, I'm sitting there and I've been joking about LeBrockets. If Houston gets vanquished here, I predicted a 5-gamer. I think Golden State's a dynasty. I think Houston's really good. I thought the Utah Jazz were really good. I thought Jordan was a dynasty.
Right.
Couldn't I argue? Veterans, he matters. He would be seen as beating a dynasty. Like, nothing against Philly or the Lakers. But this Houston thing, if they get dominated by Golden State, it adds value.
No doubt, yeah. It's like how Golden State couldn't have won that finals and still gotten Durant. The optics are just impossible then. They were already really difficult, but they become impossible. Right, if they get smoked here, it probably gives them, I would assume, a better chance. And you are getting guys whose their their careers kind of line up, right? Harden, Chris Paul, LeBron, it lines up for you time-wise.
What did you make? There's this play by Draymond Green. I think he's 2018 version of Dennis Rodman. Right. I think he's smarter than people think. I think he knows exactly what he's doing. I theorize that he goes with bigs downstairs, and with guards, he goes to the neck. Those are very personal, tangible attacks.
Right.
He went right after his neck. I mean, when somebody touches your neck, whereas if I'm a 7-footer, I can't get down there, you're kicking there. I think he's a very heady player. What did you make of Draymond last night and those early outbursts?
The fact that they came early, to me, something shifted with him. I talked to him about this a little bit last week. Is I think what he does comes less from a place of anger and more from a place of calculation. You take the calling out Durant and Curry after Game 3 of that Pelicans series. He didn't seem angry when he did that. He seemed like he wanted to get a reaction from them. And I think he's sort of learned that a little bit, right? I think most of his outbursts before, it was kind of rage-fueled. Now it doesn't seem like that quite as much. If you talk to Warriors people, they say, he talks a little less, but the message is a little bit stronger. And yeah, he did that. The fact that he did it early in the game and went after a player who clearly is the key to everything Houston does.
So everything goes through Harden.
Him. And I think that deep down, the Warriors believe that they can rattle Harden because they have in the past. They've rattled him with their length, the way they play. I think they feel as if they can't get beat by him. And that was kind of it. And look, he has the ability to do that. When you have 3 Hall of Famers behind you, even if Draymond Green gets thrown out of a game, they're okay. If they get James Harden in some kind of tiff with Draymond Green, that's a good dynamic for them.
Is Westbrook and Harden, are they closer? I said earlier, I think Harden sometimes is Westbrook with facial hair. Lee Jenkins may combat that, may agree with that. He'll be joining us coming up next. Using TrueCar, you can identify the car you want. Using True Price from TrueCar, going to the dealership, the exact price you're going to get. Now you go with more confidence. There are TrueCar certified dealers in America. In fact, there are over 15,000 TrueCar certified dealers. Those users save an average of $3,000 off MSRP. So when you're ready to buy a new